Over 80,000 new species have been discovered in the past 5 years alone. The Democratic Republic of Congo is grading a biodiversity corridor the size of Jamaica. And battery storage is now cheap enough to beat fossil fuels even at night. From saving whales with AI detection, to new fashion waste regulations, and to the potential of storing massive amounts of CO2 in volcanic rocks. I'm Freddy, this is Good News, and here are the best good news stories of the month. Our first story brings incredible news for our planet. We are starting in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where local communities are creating a biodiversity corridor the size of Jamaica. The DRC is a place famous for its vast rainforests and stunning animal diversity. Inside its borders, it has 9 enormous national parks. And right now, they are connecting one of them to a protected area that's 5 times the size of Los Angeles. Not even a nearby armed conflict is stopping their progress. The conservation idea is simple. By creating a bridge, animals can travel between the 2 parks safer. But there's much more to it than that. From 1970, thousands of local Badwa people were violently thrown off their lands by the government during the creation of this national park. Many of them formed nearby communities after losing everything. The new corridor is aiming to right the wrongs of the past. For the first time, the Badwa will legally own the land they live on. This provides strong legal protection against future removals by the government. In return, the communities will help maintain biodiversity around them. So far, 23 communities have agreed to it. And right now, the corridor is more than halfway towards its goal. Progress is being made in other areas as well. New species are being discovered at the fastest rate ever. That's according to a recent study from the University of Arizona. Between 2015 and 2020, more than 16,000 animals, plants and fungi were discovered every single year. And in just the last 20 years, scientists have discovered around 15% of all species currently known to us. So far, we have described about 2.5 million different species. But it's safe to say that many millions more are still out there. In 2019, they even found a new type of whale. Not sure how they missed that one. And now, they are going to be more protected than ever. An AI detection tool can spot nearby whales to prevent collisions with ships. Every year, around 30,000 whales are killed or injured by crashing into the side of vessels. At the moment, there are a couple of ways this can be avoided. The easiest way is to slow the ship down. But the problem with speed restrictions in open sea is that they can be easily ignored. Another method is a whale sighting system. But the issue here is that captains have to rely on sightings that may be hours or even days old. And obviously, you could rely on good old-fashioned eyesight to avoid them. But I think it's pretty clear why this is not the best approach. This is where Whale Spotter comes in. First, it uses thermal imaging to detect potential whales that have surfaced. I say potential because waves, debris and other sea life can accidentally be picked up. But an AI algorithm filters these incorrect results out. If the AI believes it's a whale, an instant alert is sent out. This is then confirmed by a person in real time, which prevents false positives. The company claims that the chances of incorrect detection are near zero. Whale Spotter operates day and night, and it can detect potential whales up to 7 kilometers away, giving the crew enough time to respond. Medicine Inc. has just become the first major shipping company to adopt this life-saving technology. And it certainly won't be the last. There are a lot of other ways we can protect whale populations. Which brings us to our next story. It involves putting cameras on blue whales. And honestly, this one is really cool because our partner Planet Wild backed it. Blue whales are the largest animals to ever exist on Earth. Imagine a Boeing 737 doing a backflip underwater and you roughly get the idea. Over the last 2 centuries though, hunting has brought them close to extinction. In 1982, a worldwide ban on commercial whaling was passed. But whale numbers are still declining, and we still try to fully understand why. Putting cameras on blue whales is a really good way to see what's going on. But researchers have to literally chase down blue whales with boats and a long stick to attach them. This is pretty dangerous and causes a lot of stress to the animal. That's why Planet Wild funded a less invasive method to do this. They supported Ocean Alliance in developing and using small cameras deployed by drones, which drop the cameras without disturbing the animals. This will shed more light on how climate change is affecting their health and feeding behavior. And all of this information will be used to develop better strategies for their recovery. And this is just one of Planet Wild's projects. Planet Wild is a community-based nature protection organization. Every month, their community of over 20,000 people funds a new mission to bring back endangered species, clean up oceans, or rescue forests. And the best part, you can see the results of these missions with your own eyes. Every month, Planet Wild releases a YouTube video about it, so you can see what the community contributions have achieved. Think of it like crowdfunding for nature. As I said, we literally could not ask for a better partner. And that is why we are already members ourselves. And it seems like you guys really like them as well when we talked about them in our previous videos. So, if you want to make a real impact, check out Planet Wild. You can give whatever amount that feels right to you, big or small. The first 100 people to sign up with our code GOOD2 get their first month completely free. You can scan the QR code on screen or just click the link in the description. And don't worry, you can cancel anytime. And you will see your impact almost instantly. Within 30 days, you can watch the results in their next update video here on YouTube. Now, let's take a look at the medical world. Brazil has officially eliminated mother-to-child transmission of HIV. Did you know that if a pregnant woman has HIV, there's a 15 to 45% chance she will pass it on to her baby? That statistic might sound familiar to you. Back in December, we reported that the Maldives had ended mother-to-child transmission of HIV. They did it by improving the standard of pre-birth care and making it free and accessible for all. And now, Brazil has just achieved the same. The WHO just confirmed it. It's the first country of more than 100 million people to do it. Next up, we have a wireless implant that could potentially restore lost senses. It's a little complicated, but hear me out. Whether it be seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting or touching, the senses make life worth living. But how exactly do we experience these sensations? Let's take seeing as an example. First of all, our eyes detect outside information like light. The body then converts this into an electrical signal. When it finally enters the brain, it lights up the area associated with seeing. It's at that moment that we actually experience it. In humans, sensory loss is more common than you think. 94% of adults will either partially or totally lose one or more of their senses during their lifetime. And scientists may have just come up with a solution to a problem most of us will get. They have developed a tiny wireless device that sits on the top of the skull. Using light, they were able to activate specific areas of the brain associated with each sense in test mice. Even without touch, sight or sound, they were able to feel, see and hear. This has enormous potential if it works with humans. It could improve visual and hearing aids by sending artificial light instead. You might even be able to taste a bratwurst without eating it. How wonderful! Until then, we will have to wait and see. And if you want to see more good news, make sure to join our new Instagram page. I'm pretty sure it will improve your day. The link is in the description if you want to check it out. Now, let's head to East Asia, where Japan is about to restart the world's biggest nuclear power plant 15 years after the Fukushima disaster. Now, this one is a little controversial, so allow me to explain. Japan doesn't have a lot of oil or natural gas, which means they have to import power from other countries. 90% of its oil, for example, comes from the Middle East. This is a pretty risky strategy though, because it makes them vulnerable to instability in global energy markets. If the Middle East is not stable, Japan's energy supply is also not stable. So for them to be self-sufficient, they currently have to rely on nuclear power. But even this is not 100% reliable. Japan lies in the middle of 3 tectonic plates. in 2011, the immense pressure between two of these constantly moving plates was suddenly released. This triggered a massive earthquake, which created a 15-meter tsunami that swept through east-central Japan. The 5.7-meter seawall of the Fukushima nuclear power plant could do nothing to stop it. The water flooded in and disabled power and cooling systems. This caused the 3 ultra-hot nuclear reactors to melt down and explode. The disaster exposed a serious safety weakness. When power systems were covered in water, they didn't work. So, all of the nation's nuclear facilities were shut down for 4 years while regulations were reviewed. As a result, internal flooding became a major new safety consideration. Since 2015, 14 nuclear reactors have been reopened. And now, the world's biggest nuclear power plant is going to come back online as well. But we are not sure exactly when. One of its 7 reactors was restarted in January, but had to be shut down after an alarm went off. It's not a safety issue apparently. At the moment, they think it's a problem with the electrical system. They are hoping to restart it after an in-depth investigation. Not everyone is happy with it though. Local residents traumatized by the 2011 disaster have expressed safety concerns. Citizens are actively protesting against the government, which is very rare in Japan. They are worried that another earthquake will cause a similar disaster. The company opening the nuclear power plant has responded. It says that the introduction of seawalls, watertight doors and more fire trucks mean there's no need to worry. But what do you think about nuclear energy? Is this story good news or not? Oh, and by the way, if you want to dive deeper, we always link our sources in the description. Now let's move on to something less controversial. Because battery storage has become cheaper than ever. One of the big disadvantages of solar is that it can only be used during the daytime. The goal is to be able to use it even at night. To do this, you need a battery that can store extra solar power gathered during the day. But traditionally, connecting one of these to a solar grid requires a lot of upfront expenses. Firstly, you have to buy battery equipment. Then you have to spend money installing and connecting it to the grid. In the past, this was so expensive that 24/7 solar power was not financially sustainable. In the last couple of years, though, these costs have dropped considerably. In 2024, for instance, battery equipment prices fell by 40%. A more competitive global market has led to an oversupply of essential battery components, which has driven prices down. And it's not just cheaper equipment. Scientific breakthroughs have not only made them last twice as long, but also made them way more efficient. That means they need to be replaced far less often. The latest data reflects these developments. A battery energy storage system connected to a solar grid now costs $65 per megawatt hour outside the US and China. So why is this so important? Because at this low price, on-demand solar power is now a realistic target for businesses. We may be reaching the final stage of solar power. And it's not only batteries that are improving. China just finished the world's first 1 gigawatt offshore solar farm. This thing is so massive, the word solar platforms is fitting better than solar panels. Each one is about a third of the size of a football pitch. At full capacity, it will provide power for about 2.6 million people annually. Let's take a detour to the clothing industry now, where new waste regulations are targeting fast fashion brands. First of all, what do I mean by fast fashion? In the fashion world, designs that are popular now often won't be popular next month. So, to make a fast profit, companies mass-produce cheap, low-quality clothes in the latest style. On average, they are only worn 7 to 10 times. A common way to dispose of them is to put them in a donation bin like this one. Most people think they will go to a person in need. But in reality, only 20% will end up in charity shops or second-hand stores in other countries. That's because fast fashion clothes are often of such bad quality that they can't be resold or recycled profitably. It's why most of it is dumped in landfill sites across the globe, like this one in Chile. But the European Union is finally doing something about it. New regulations will make fast fashion companies responsible for all the waste they cause. The more they produce, the more they will have to pay for the environmental harm their products cause. Countries across the EU now have 30 months to create programs to enforce this. It means fast fashion brands may have to pay up as early as late 2027. I just mentioned Chile in that last story because over 1,300 square kilometers of Chilean Patagonia has been preserved after local fundraising. It's a blaze of ancient forests, glittering waterfalls, emerald green rivers, and tiny cute deers. This valley in Chile may be the closest place we have to an untouched paradise on Earth. And that's no exaggeration. Apart from a few cave paintings, there's no evidence that humans have ever lived there long term. In 2012, though, this slice of paradise was threatened by the construction of a hydroelectric dam. Local communities, backpackers, and explorers united together to stop it. Then, a high-end vacation home project was cancelled because of strong opposition. With so many companies interested in this area, a Chilean NGO formed a plan to keep them out for good. They established a fundraising campaign to purchase the valley and make it a protected zone. Thanks to donations, they have now raised the $63 million required to buy it. And they have already started introducing measures to protect it. Only 15,000 visitors will be allowed in every year. 80% of it will remain protected, while local businesses like ranches and family farms will be allowed to operate in 20% of it. And now for our last story, volcanic rocks could store decades of CO2 emissions. Scientists are always looking for new ways to remove CO2 from our atmosphere. One that has attracted interest recently is carbon mineralization. This is a natural process that involves minerals like calcium and magnesium, which are found inside volcanic rocks. CO2 in the atmosphere can react with these minerals to form solid rock, which stores the carbon. Naturally, this takes hundreds and thousands of years. But with modern science, we can actually speed it up. First, you dissolve CO2 in water and inject it into volcanic rocks which contain minerals. Then, after about 2 to 4 years, the carbon turns into stone, which traps it forever. Researchers in the UK have just identified 8 underground sites where this could be done on a large scale with a volcanic rock called basalt. 38 million tons of CO2 could be stored there. Just under half of it could be put away in Northern Ireland alone, at the Antrim lava group. The next step is to see how fast and efficiently this can be done at all 8 of them. Together, they have the potential to trap 45 years worth of industrial CO2 waste. So, which of these good news stories did you like the most? As always, let me know down in the comments below. Big thanks again to Planet Wild. If you want to make a difference for the planet, scan the QR code or use the link below. And if you're curious about their project, putting cameras on huge blue whales, you can watch their video right here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!